today. Let's start with our first session, creating impact, how to design a high-impact corporate volunteering campaign that drives engagement and purpose. A brief session intro. This session will explore how India's leading companies are designing corporate volunteering initiatives within their company to attract and retain volunteer mentors. And we are delighted to have with us today Neha Chandra, lead of employee volunteering at Amazon, who has scaled Amazon's volunteering program tenfold, launching initiatives like Amazon's Global Month of Volunteering in India. We have Mr. Kishore Kumar, who's the Corporate Social Responsibility Manager at Microsoft, who over a 10-year span has designed programs and employee volunteering across education, employability, and now AI skilling. We also have Mr. Harshit, Regional Impact Program Lead for India and EMEA at Atlassian, and founder of the Impact Folks, a network for social impact professionals. Mr. Harshit, Mr. Harshit was also previously the national lead of volunteering at Akshaya Patra Foundation. We have Madhura Kamath, Senior Program Manager at Mentor Together, with leads of years of work in helping our female mentee accelerate their placement readiness across colleges in India. Everybody, let's please join me in welcoming our esteemed panel. Thank you so much. Over to you, Madhura.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining. I think it's an honor to have, I hope you are able to hear me without the mic as well, or is this better? Okay, perfect. So it is an honor to have the three of you today, and I'm sure everyone is eagerly waiting to hear insights from you, because all of us know that attracting mentors is one of the key pieces in the whole jigsaw or puzzle of having mentors for the mentoring movement. So yeah, without any further ado, let's sort of begin. And let me first begin by setting some context on the global impact of volunteer mentors that we already know about. So throughout history, individuals who have already volunteered time and expertise as mentors have played a very pivotal role in shaping the life of young people. Some of the things that we already know are that mentored youth have more likely to graduate from high school. There are more people who attend college. There are lesser college dropouts. We've also found people who are into mentoring programs likely to engage lesser in drug and alcohol abuse, right? So all of these things are already known. So given all of this, we know that mentoring is a need, but how can we increase mentoring as a large-scale movement is the question. And I think the answer, thank you. I think the answer lies in the supply of mentors, and I think today's session is going to tell us all about that. So the formal sector of employment in India presents a very significant potential volunteer base that can be used to harness large-scale mentoring movements. I'm also going to be talking about some of the insights that we found from a recent Goodera report, which Yasmin from BAT yesterday also quoted about, and I think it has a lot of very interesting details for us to just revisit. I think one being the workforce participation rate. The median workforce participation across corporate volunteer programs stands at about 29.2%, and companies in the consumer goods and services with a participation rate of 38%. It was also understood that smaller companies with less than 5,000 employees have higher engagement rates at about 49%, and participation dropping by about 19% for organizations with more than 50,000 plus employees. Again, on the average volunteering hours, it was understood that about 3.4 hours is what is the average hours, especially in the technology sector. Which is very interesting. It is about 6.8 hours per participant, right? Which goes to show that there is huge scope in that. And thirdly, the impact of volunteering enablers. Companies that leverage volunteering enablers in terms of having volunteer time off or volunteer grants had a higher workforce participation rate of almost 1.6 times higher than those who do not have that. So these trends, I think, highlight both that there is potential, enthusiasm, but then the question is how to get people to be part of a volunteering large-scale movement, right? So I think, yes, let's directly, I know you all are waiting to hear from the three people that we have here, and I'll directly start with the questions. I'll pose one question, and then all of you three can take chances to answer basis how it is working in your organization. The first question that we have is, we'd all love to know how have you all as an organization positioned and promoted youth mentoring within the whole company's dynamics of volunteering, because I know that there could be many other volunteering programs as well. And what is the position of mentoring especially within all of those? Yes.
Thank you. I think it's a warm crowd. I think close group, but a warm crowd. So I want to kind of make sure that we all learn from each other and take it from here. So my name is Kishore. I lead employee volunteering and corporate social responsibility for Microsoft Corporation India Private Limited. So that's my role. I have been here for 5 years. And volunteering, mentoring are all topics close to my heart. Like that is what I keep doing, I think, over the last 13, 14 years. And to get started, how does Microsoft look at volunteering, and within that, how is mentoring looked up? For us, we look at mentoring, and I will say volunteering and then go to mentoring. So we divide mentoring at 4 levels. So the pillar for us is always competency-based volunteering. That is our spine. Like in Microsoft, we would always want to look at employees engaged in competency-based volunteering, where their competencies are put to use, and the time that they drive those volunteering programs are provided with rewards which can be given back to drive other engagements. In the sense, like if you are good at some skill, volunteer to provide that skill, and make sure that Microsoft rewards you for that skill that you provided, and they enable that reward to that non-profit. So the remaining pieces can be taken up by them. It's not necessary that you have to go and do those volunteering activities that is not best suited for you. I think that is like our spinal, spine for our most of our volunteering programs. And if you look at how we have structured those programs, I think we have 4 layers. Number 1 is like we have a global program across globe, which is called GIVE program, that is available through the year, and which promotes employees to donate both time and money. And we kind of make sure that that is employee self-driven. People can onboard non-profits of their own choice. They can kind of work with them for any causes that is close to their heart, and that includes mentoring programs which people try. That is like my level 1, low touch, where I don't emphasize more on competency, but I at least provide an opening for them so that people touch base on it. We have some 65% engagement in that layer. For an organization of 2 lakh employees, I think 65% is huge number. I think that's where we start with. Then once that is done, then we have organizational level mentoring programs. So that we under a brand called Mentor. So we have organizational level programs where we collaborate with the organizations who are into mentoring. Like we collaborate with Mentor together. With Aruna is there. We work with them on FFE mentoring programs, etc. Where we try to kind of align with the charter those mentoring programs need us to support, but then we are promoting at that organizational level, and we try to kind of provide the necessary appreciation platforms, everything, so that people join them. There is a lot of visibility. You join, you will be appreciated, etc. I think that's our second level of program. And we also make sure that this is combined with the employee resource group driven programs. Like we have women employee resource group, Gleam employee resource group. We have like theme based employee resource group. So this is my layer 2. So they will also drive their theme centric programs, like women mentorship program for transgenders. Like they keep doing at their respective resource group level. This is my level 2. So people choose those programs, apply for them, participate. Structure is whatever is the respective non-profit is driving. We put in our time, all the necessary things are taken care. That's second for us. Third is like for us, CSR projects driven mentoring programs, where our CSR team curates those mentoring opportunities where we say these are all the outcomes that are lacking in our skilling projects, our technology projects, or any other projects, and we try to kind of curate projects for them, mentoring programs for them, where the emphasis is more on outcomes. Like this outcome is missing, this is the competency these people can bring in, and you can go and join them. So that's emphasis. Like if you see each layer by layer, actually the competency keeps increasing. Like in your second one, you might be engaged in a 3-month program. In level 3, you might be even engaged in a 1-year program. Might be here you are doing a small level of mentoring with some communication skill, etc. But there I am putting you in AI training, cybersecurity training, like cleverness, respective competency base. That's my third level. And final is business unit owned program. So where we try to kind of encourage leaders, business units to kind of try and drive programs using the competencies of their employees, where the emphasis is not necessarily immediately on the outcome, which is always there, but the emphasis is more on building the competency of the respective employees in those business units. Like let's say you have a cloud specialist and you find employee mentoring and volunteering as an opportunity where you can put more people to enhance their skills, and in return that is going to contribute back to the business. Why not you as a leader drive it and then kind of drive such programs? These are like 4 levels of programs we keep. So like in each program there is like specific reason why we do that. Might be in top layer it is competency enhancement, but finally outcomes are mentoring and volunteering taken care. Second layer is social outcomes of my projects, the LACNA is being taken care. Might be in my level 1, it's more on complementing and driving organizational goals where people are going next level. First is like self initiatives where you can kind of take up causes close to your heart and then engage with your employees. I know we have more time, we can share more, but I just give it to my colleagues. But then this is how we at least get structured. And in all these programs, you know that mentoring is our primary part of it. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions to cover all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kishore. That was very enlightening and enriching. Thank you for sharing with us. Sorry? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, at Amazon we have similar programs, so I don't want to repeat all of that, and Kishore is doing great work. But I want to basically maybe focus more on youth mentorship. So we do have a large volunteering program, and like Kishore said, we try to, our basis is also empowerment and giving agency to the employees. So we support and we create processes and products so that all employees can do, can donate their time and their skills and their competencies to whatever causes that are close to their heart. So we don't have, while we have global priorities and local priorities, we empower them to take up anything that they can do and to create movements around it. So an employee can start up something on their own, the ERG can start up something on their own, and we support them. And mentorship is kind of, positioned as something which is a high-touch volunteering. So just simply saying, simply giving like a focus to it. We have some low-touch volunteering opportunities and high-touch volunteering opportunities, and skill-based volunteering and mentorship comes into the high-touch volunteering. And it also provides like a really important graph for the volunteers to kind of, get guided or nudged towards more impactful volunteering. So our low-touch volunteering is kind of treated as like a gateway to recruit more volunteers, and it is almost like, try it and see it if it works out for you. And then based on their engagement, we try and move them into more into programs that are more suited for them. And frankly speaking, mentorship is something that we just have to kind of market it properly to the target audience, but it speaks for its own. Like most of us over here, and I feel definitely all of the employees at Amazon have had a mentor in their life at some point. It could be somebody in your family, it could be some of your long lost cousins or something, and everybody is where they are because of some person that they idolized, right? It could be fictional or like a relative. And it comes very naturally to at least people at Amazon. And we have people from all genres and all kind of stages in their life. So we might have somebody from some tribal village, and we have some very highly privileged people from metros, and everybody. And they're at the same level, and they're all treated equally. So they want to kind of give it back. So mentorship is kind of positioned as the same, that if you had a mentor and you want to grow that light, come join us, and then it has taken up.
Thanks, Neha. I have very similar points, but we'll just add how Atlassian does it. First of all, thank you, team, for organizing this. This is such a niche event, and we didn't know mentoring, can also become like a 2-day workshop or a 2-day summit, right? So thanks for putting this together and throwing light on this entire subject. So I work for Atlassian, and at Atlassian we have, always been, thinking how can we, improve our mentorship programs, and how can we engage our employees in deep initiatives like mentoring, where people just don't come once and, just finish volunteering and go back, but stick and, repeatedly continue engaging with a person or an organization. So about 1.5 years back, when we started feeling that now volunteering is becoming very dry, it's just, people come volunteer and go back, and after COVID, we wanted to innovate a bit. We started something called the Foundation Rewards Program. There's a great quote which says, actions speak, not words, right? So similarly, we were like, okay, actions make a difference, not hours. So before, 1.5 years back, we were all in terms of hours. How many hours do volunteers, average of 3.5 hours of volunteering in my company, XYZ, like that. We are like, we are done with hours. Like, somebody volunteers 1 hour, somebody might volunteer 40 hours. How can we become more impactful? Then we started thinking about actions. There are multiple actions that people take to create impact. So we started categorizing these actions into 3 different levels. Just like how you have like an airline loyalty program where you start with silver, gold, and then platinum. I don't know if Bala is around. Some of the people in volunteering space use this terminology called tourist, traveler, and guide. So similarly, we started building something called movers, shakers, and change makers. So basically, movers are people who just come like tourists. They volunteer once in a while and they go back. Then we have people called shakers. Shakers are people who come as tourists. They want to explore. They organize events. They stay for some time, and they try engaging once in a while with a nonprofit. But we have the third category called change makers, who stick with a nonprofit, who become guides, and who engage with these nonprofits and mentorship programs. So if you see, our mentorship programs are now mapped to the third category, which is the change maker category. So we have taken all our mentorship programs and kind of added them to the change maker category. So anybody who mentors a child or a youngster for about 3 months will get a change maker action. And once a person gets 2 change maker actions in a year, they can unlock certain rewards. So that rewards includes a financial grant that they can donate to any charity. They get access to Atlassian products, free of cost for charities that they care about. And they also can apply for a community grant. It's about $10,000 now that they can apply for. So the same mentorship program, so now we have placed it at the highest order. So now everybody feels mentorship programs to be very aspirational, and everybody wants to go there. So what happens is now, because they're getting so many rewards. Okay, and one more thing is you can also unlock a recommendation letter for your annual performance. So now everybody aspires to become a change maker. So obviously the mentorship numbers are going up in Atlassian. And yeah, that's how we repackage everything and kind of sell it to our employees.
Great, thank you. The next question, maybe Harshit, we could start from you as well. Have you all given volunteering for youth mentoring any specific brand or identity within your organizations? If yes, if you could tell us maybe in a minute each of how.
So I think my previous answer kind of covered that. So like I told you, our entire mentorship program is kind of repackaged under Foundation Rewards, which is our entire volunteering model. So in Foundation Rewards, it comes under the change maker category. So that's how we repackage it and put it forward to our employees.
Thanks. So yes, we have provided some kind of branding to our volunteering and especially to our mentoring program. So, and I come from a GTM strategy background. So this was the reason to kind of package it, and it is essentially like we don't have any rewards or any volunteering time off policy at Amazon. It is basically kind of volunteering is positioned as service or seva, so you're not really expected anything on top of it. So it's more of like an attraction, and that's how we've built. So we've built communities, and that has been a very important factor in kind of building people. People want to spend time with like-minded people, and there's a whole community where they kind of exchange stories and heartfelt stories about how they have how they've been helped. And as part of it, we also have a mentoring community. And Harshit very rightly, it is very aspirational, and they are considered a different breed. And we do a lot of get-togethers for them essentially, and try to treat them as a very good committee of people. But apart from that, definitely we do a lot of we focus a lot on how do we market them and how do we create collaterals, and it is very specific to how do we talk to our target audience and speak to them about it. So yes, there is a lot of community building around the mentorship as well.
Sure. I think I laid my platform so that I can build on the next questions on top of the platform. So to answer this question, especially the first layer, we don't have any specific brands because it's all the employees who drive them. But in the next 3 layers, like where we drive initiatives at the organizational level, we have 2 brands, because branding is necessary there, because it is done at the organizational level, and we would want to appreciate and then kind of reward employees who are volunteering and mentoring. So we have Mentor as a platform that is for volunteering youth and people, women entrepreneurs, everyone. Then we have Change Agents as a platform where the mentoring is more on non-profit employees. So we would want to, because since we are working on AI transformations for the last 1 year, so our entire programming, mentoring, all is based on AI. So we have Change Agents as a program, specifically as a brand for building capacity of non-profit employees. So this is like one brand for us. And the second layer where the programs are being supported, especially the CSR projects, I think the emphasis is to let the project brands establish themselves than creating additional mentoring brands. So we have initiatives like Cyber Shiksha, Tech Saksham, Skill Saksham. So these are like our flagship initiatives driven across the country, and we want to kind of align these mentorship programs to them. So the brands of the project remains the same for this program. And when it is business-owned initiatives, I think we want it to be more creative. So we let the business unit leaders and those champions who are interested to drive to create initiative brands. Like we are quite okay to accredit it and make it available in public. So there are brands like Girls Go Ready, Project Lighthouse. So people are being provided with that opportunity to create a brand for their own business unit, run it in India, scale it to Asia, make it available in, let's say, Americas, and then want to kind of not just limit to Microsoft. Let's say it's an Microsoft Azure team-driven Girls Go Ready program. We are quite okay to kind of take that brand outside of Microsoft and position it that way as well. I think that's how we look at branding these programs. The reason and rationale is this, and that is how we have it.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll head to the next question. Is within your organizations, how do you plan the campaign that you run to identify mentors? What is the frequency, maybe? Is that annual? How does that go?
Okay. I think all of us do the same thing, but in a little slightly different way with the flavor and touch of our own companies. So I think in Atlassian, about 3 years back when I joined, the team, my team used to run most of the events along with a small council called the Foundation Council. And we were like, if we are just a limited number of people, we are not going to scale up this. Like, how do we scale up mentorship programs, right? So then we started asking our employees to lead these mentorship programs on their own. And everybody who wants to work with a nonprofit now came up with a mentorship program. We already have, I think, about 7 to 8 active mentorship programs going on in Atlassian. And these are completely Atlassian-led. So I really don't know what is happening in these mentorship programs. Once in a quarter, we just connect and take an update what's happening. And I'll be like, is there any help I can do to you? I can support in any way. And they just tell me. So if you see, they're all independent programs driven by our employees and also kind of supported by some of the leaders. So for example, there's a marketplace team in Atlassian which runs a program called Ananya Mentorship Program. They found the nonprofit. They built the entire curriculum with the nonprofit. They implement this. The volunteers actually, create, lesson plans. They create, timetables, everything. They do everything. And they run this program for about 100 girl students, if I'm not wrong. So everything is employee driven. So, it's much more easier to reach out to employees when it's employee driven, right? And especially when it's backed by leaders. So that's how mentorship programs are kind of growing in Atlassian. And to this, some of our policies as a team kind of help, move them further.
Thanks, Ajit. So in terms of, just the kind of programs we run, currently we run 2 programs in mentorship. One of them is like a longer term value and one of them is a higher term value. So it's not really like over the year, it is cyclical in nature. And it's not even seasonal, like in terms of, whenever we feel that we need to provide a push, we kind of run those campaigns, but it runs at least once in a quarter, but it's a yearly program. And the minimum time that the mentors commit is 6 months. So they are attached to one mentee for about 6 months so that they can actually, create that transformation value. And we usually run our campaigns around, what is the employee sentiment going on. So we recently did something around 2nd of October. So if we have to do it in a quarter or in a month, we'll kind of place it at points where, people are more susceptible. So it's very target audience driven is what we do.
I think we look at the theme of those initiatives. We look at what is the intended outcome of those initiatives and then try to kind of run the necessary campaigns accordingly. If it is organizational level initiative and your focus is to kind of support those respective non-profit programs which are running in multiple batches, then I think our campaigns are based on like after each batch completion, try to kind of go for a refresh of the volunteers and then try mentors and then try to kind of position what was the impact achieved in the previous batches and also try to kind of work on the necessary recognitions delivered through those mentors and the rewards made available to them. So these are all like pull factors plus materials which we enable to them and run them batch after batch. I think that is like campaign mode for these programs. When it is like the initiatives for corporate social responsibility projects where we need to have them deliver through the year or for at least a minimum of 6 months, etc. I think there we cannot have batches completing and then do multiple. It's like an ongoing program. So we normally kind of use motions like what type of impact is getting created regularly, what type of impact the mentors are doing in the program regularly, have them published in various forums including newsletter, television in our offices, etc. And then continuously pull people into it, like get the non-profits to come and demonstrate the impact once in a quarter, once in a month, share what mentors are doing. I think there the methodology is little different. Here we go batch after batch, try to kind of use that. But here it's like, it's an ongoing process, keeps going. Every now and then, like we have rhythms at which partners come share their impact and then try to kind of continuously onboard people. Like might be there are 300 people, not sufficient. Another 200 keep adding. There are another 100 who dropped out. But then again, out of that 100, there are 50 who did well. Work with them to again bring them back and see that our remaining 100, how much we can kind of retain. I think that's the methodology that goes there in that kind of programs. At the business-driven programs, I think the business manager or the leader themselves is the key. Because when the leader is driving it and they are responsible for it, I think I have little less headache there in terms of running campaigns because they are responsible for their own success and they actually compete with each other. Let's say whether Girls Go Ready is a bigger program in Microsoft or is it like Cyber Shiksha a bigger program or like they try to kind of, because they are trying to demonstrate it and they want to kind of get appreciation from their leaders and this is part of their additional organizational goal as well. Like we have diversity and inclusion goal where 5% of a time an employee can contribute for these kind of initiatives and they are evaluated in their promotions and other things. So normally they use these forums to demonstrate. So I think that takes care of itself. Yeah.
Great, thank you. The next question would be to understand the essence of the messaging campaigns that you all run. And I think it will be helpful for us to know that what are the type, which is, if you all had to tell us about some messages that really you'll have found to be very impactful as to why should someone mentor, what are those messages that have really helped?
Yeah. A couple of them I feel is very important. When I, again, joined Atlassian, like most of the mentorship programs were like a year long or 6 months long. So what happens is when you ask a person for a long-term commitment, one of the things is they get scared. They'll be like, after 12 months, will I still be able to volunteer? It's just a thinking, right? Like, I might not know if, from March I will be available. So they tend to not sign up. So we started restructuring how we kind of give this message to people. So we started telling that, join us for 3 months. Then every 3 months, if you want, you can kind of do a renewal kind of a thing. You can rejoin and keep continuing to volunteer. But after 3 months, if you want to drop out, then you can drop out. So, and another thing that we also try to solve is people will think, okay, this week, I am free, but next week I might not be free. So people will be like, what if I become busy during work and I cannot take classes? That's another notion that people have while signing up for mentorship. So we created buddy pairs. Like for example, for every 5 mentees, we had like 2 mentors. So within them, they decide when they want to do. Like this week I am free, I'll do it. Next week you are free, you do it. So they keep doing something like that. So these were some of the key messages, and a leadership branding helped us a lot. Like whenever our CEOs are here, we used to have 2 CEOs before, we just have 1 CEO now. But whenever our CEOs used to come down to India, mentors were always welcomed for dinners and special events with them. So they always used to get appreciated and they used to feel very privileged. So rest of the company used to see mentors getting this special privilege and they're like, okay, now I should also join and do these mentorship programs. So yeah, and I think last question you asked about how many months, right? So we have some or the other mentorship program happening throughout the year. And I told you most of our mentorship keep recurring once in 3 months. So there's an opportunity always available and people can sign up. Yeah.
So that's a really hard question, Madhura. What is the essence of mentoring? I mean, it's very personal for everyone, and we've kind of invested because this is a very precious and an important program for us. So we've invested in a marketing agency who kind of helps sort out these messaging for us, and it's very targeted at the kind of people. The challenge being that our target audience is very diverse. Okay, so the people that we've met who have been sticking with mentoring for a long time are sometimes really young people who've just come out of a very small town, and they want to connect to the younger audience, and they feel that the way they mentor will speak much more to them. Then we have senior employees who are mothers and who've been mentoring, and one of the employees I talked to, she was so candid. She was like, I used to coach my teenage son, now he's outside of the home and I miss that, so I've started this up. And then there are other people who are like, I had a mentor and I had to give it back. So it's really very personal, and it's a difficult thing. So I feel that it's best left to the specialists. But all in all, we try to use human stories, and we try to put people forward, and we try to use as authentic messages as possible. So we use what mentors have to say, what are the reasons that they mentor, and what are the things that, so basically each program is like, okay, what will you do and what will you get out of it? But it's not crafted by an agency or by me or what my understanding of mentorship it is what we hear. And we put out interviews by the mentors, and we put out their personal stories. The one thing that we always take care of is about the commitment, which we always, tell that it's like, once in 6 months. And we've also tried that, Harshit, thank you for mentioning that we always keep 2 mentor buddies, so that, most of the times we've seen that the response is huge. Everybody wants to participate. And then suddenly they're like, oh maybe I might not be available. So that having a buddy kind of gives them comfort that, you will always be able to prioritize because you have one person. And we've seen that is not needed. It's just that initial comfort that they require to do this.
I think I align with both of them because these are all very important aspects that we take care, starting from the mentor's comfort level to be part of the program, making available what are the things that he needs to sustain and deliver the impact which he's supposed to do. But our might be like, if I look at it all, like our highest focus will always be on the outcome, like what was supposed to be done, what did others do in this program in the past, what has been achieved because of it, and what can you go and do there. And then how, if you do it, what will happen for the intended audience. I think that will always be our starting point for any program. Whatever mechanisms are needed to get that reach to the last mentor, we will do that. But when we do that, we also make sure that, like how Harshit said, like you have a backup mentor to take care, or like you are provided with necessary resources to ensure that you are able to deliver it. You are provided with necessary tools, wherewithals and everything, like even your expenses and everything taken care to deliver. I think these all from a mentor comfort level from a mentee combination also, like necessary tools for collaboration, necessary what to say incentives to make sure that, because at the time many a time there is more around mentor is keen to do, but then mentee is not having enough methodologies to connect, and then the motivation level goes down. So what is all that we can do at that level to retain it? I think that also we do. But specifically, if I would like to add two things which in Microsoft we do, which I feel that that is a good practice for us to take back in addition to what my panelists said, peer panelists said. I think one, we try to enable volunteering time off. So there are 3 volunteering time off days. So there is 24 hours available for mentoring, like people can avail leaves and then they can use it. This is strictly for mentoring programs. And second is we have mentoring training programs also. Like we have a training program to complete, not necessary for all the programs, but especially for the advanced programs. We understand that there are always some challenges and there are some kind of best practices. So we have curated an internal learning pathway where we request them to complete and also join them, where we feel the completion rate and all those challenges are already taken care and they come with some framework. Yeah.
Great, thank you. That was going to be my next question, which is, yeah, like all of you said, that there could be some challenges, and what are you all doing as an organization to solve those challenges to get more people to mentor and be part of the larger community? Harshit, do you want to first? Okay.
No problem, I think challenges are at each level. I think all of us will know, like that's how we have been operating without challenges, then which means we are not operating. So challenges will be there when we operate. I think I understand that. So we look at holistically all the stakeholders who are there, so who are involved in it. So there are 3 major stakeholders in mentoring programs: mentors, the non-profit, which is kind of connecting the mentor and the mentees, like who is our partner, and the mentees. And if you look at challenges, I think there exists plethora of challenges that are solvable, that can be resolved, etc. But how we overcome them is like we holistically look at it. For example, for mentor, I think the major challenge would be on continuity, especially for long-term programs. That is where most of them acknowledge having backups, providing them the comfort that you can go at your pace, and in the meantime, there is no pressure on you to kind of intend. So that mechanisms, so that the mentor is at comfort level, will be my number 1 priority, because that is needed to drive that impact. Second is platforms, because in terms of, I know all of us, like even I have seen FFE mentoring together, even anyone else like with whom I mentor, like most of them now have platforms to collaborate, enable that, like even Buddy for Study, I think all of them have that. So enabling that necessary collaborating mechanisms are there, so that they touch base with each other. And when they touch base with each other, I also look up to my partner to see that the responses are provided for the challenges that are existing. I think that's the second factor for me. Like one is mentor's comfort. Second is when mentor is comfortable and is delivering the program, resolution mechanism for the challenges that are arriving during that communication. Because if the mentor is keen and is asking but nobody is responding, then the interest level goes down and then people go back. I think what is that platform that is being made available and how effectively the platform is there, I think that is what we would want to successfully ensure. I think we run office hours internally for every program to make sure that where are you stuck, is it everything going on? I think weekly office hours are there. I think people, I think partners also drive the platforms like WhatsApp groups, or they also have their channels to kind of support. And from a student point of view, I think my third layer would be like, this is all being done for the beneficiary who is kind of learning, but then we understand that people always think that I'm here to mentor, they should attend, but then they don't understand that they also have some challenges which are like sometimes not comprehensible from our side. I may say like might be sometimes we are outdated not to comprehend what is happening there, but what is to be provided to them, especially what would enthuse them, if there is any incentives to be provided. Like I have Catalyst mentorship program where we make sure that if you are supposed to attend 24 sessions to be part of this program, minimum 18 sessions they should attend. But for each session they attend, 1,000 rupees as a reward. We will be making sure that it is reached to them. But that will be made available after you have completed your 18 sessions. Like overall, 24,000 like you will get, but then you will get after 18. So like try to kind of put some incentivized mechanisms rather than kind of, which will all get the mentee be part of the program and benefit, I think. So I'll just give it to my other panelists to share their perspective, but I will look at this way, like who are the stakeholders, what is it to be taken care for each of them, and then provide some progressive solutions, look at the challenges and try to solve them. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kishore. So at Amazon, we do something similar and something really different as well. We really like, there's this whole culture of being customer obsessed, and we treat all of our stakeholders as customers in the sense. And hence, when we look at mentors, we're really looking at, it as a customer, somebody who's buying these services from us. They are not, right? But in terms of, the kind of focus that goes into solving their pain points and their unmet needs and what is going wrong today and what could go wrong tomorrow is what we look at. And similarly, we treat our NGO partners as well as our mentees with the same kind of focus on their unmet needs. And there's always a cycle, right? So, but if you talk about, and there will be challenges at each level, but the biggest challenge right now that we face is just not in terms of attrition, but kind of recruitment and the flow of employees from kind of expressing their interest to become a mentor to kind of actually starting their mentorship. And there are about like say 30% dropout at each stage. And which is what you find in a normal customer life cycle journey as well. The more interactions you have, you'll have leakage at each point. So what we do essentially to solve for that is we keep driving the supply and we keep recruiting more and more people. And definitely, like Kishore said, we looked at process and we look at platforms. But in terms of just this dropping of interest, because there are so many multiple touch points, what we do is, try to make this journey as simple and with the least intervention points till they start the mentorship. So what we do is, probably just, complete the training in one go, have like in-person trainings or virtual trainings. And now what we've also decided is to lean on our business teams more. So while there has been tremendous support from our business leaders in terms of mentoring, because they feel that it might be one of our highest impact programs, we look at teams and we encourage teams to kind of insert a mentorship component into their summits or their team meetings or their all Amazon meetings, wherein earlier it used to be like 1-2 hours of volunteering, which might be random in nature, but this time we're like, okay, let's do mentor training. Okay, so this is where we're solving that challenge of, just this initial hesitation of, oh my God, I have to train myself to become this. I thought it was simpler. So that is one of the biggest challenges that we're solving right now.
I think, mentorships, according to me, is the most smooth sailing one for me at Atlassian at least. The reason is we have not built too many large programs where we have like 500 mentors or 1,000 mentors. And, when there's workload, like 100 mentors drop out and, you have to now figure out where these 100 mentors come from. So the beauty of our mentorship programs is they're very small, they're very employee-led, like 30 people in the mentorship program working with a nonprofit. So the leader who is doing this, running this mentorship program has a very good connect with the mentors. And whenever the mentor feels like leaving, they will just inform the leader, like maybe like a month in advance. Hey, my priorities are changing. I want to focus on something else. So the leader gets ample time to actually fill that gap. So that way, it's very smooth sailing. But that said, there are also, I think, 2-3 challenges that I kind of observe. The first thing is the leader and the leadership pipeline. For example, if your leader is the one who's driving everything, and if the leader is leaving, then it's a big problem for your mentorship program. So whenever we have these mentor leaders, then we always try building like 1 or 2 backups, like their deputies, who always know what's happening and they kind of program manage it. And whenever the leader feels, okay, now I have to quit, then these people take up that opportunity. And the second thing is platform. A lot of nonprofits that we work with still don't have platforms that can be used to run mentorship programs. It's a complex program because you need timetables, you need lesson plans, you need to set up calls, everything, especially if it's a virtual one, right? So I think that is one challenge area that still many nonprofits are not able to solve. We still do it on Word documents, Excel sheets, all of them. And the third one, I had something very important to tell, I forgot. Okay, maybe if I remember, I'll come back. Yeah.
One last question before we have some questions. Maybe we'll have 2-3 questions from the audience. And I think rather than the 3 of you, given the lack of, we're running out of time, maybe one of you could answer, is what message would you like to give to the nonprofits that you work with to sort of drive more mentorship? Neha, would you want to take that? Or?
Okay. I remembered my point.
Sure.
So
yeah, okay, great.
it was about impact assessment. I interact with a lot of mentors. And one of the biggest questions that they keep asking me is, Harshit, I have done 1 year of mentorship. What is the impact that I have created on, these mentees, right? Especially in a virtual world, getting to know the impact is very, very difficult. And Atlassian is a, team anywhere company. That means our employees do not have to come to office. They work from their homes. And most of our mentorship programs are virtual. They happen over Zoom. And we have one mentorship program where our employees teach school children, and there are class of 30, 40 children sitting in front of a TV, and our volunteers are teaching and they're learning. So in such a setup, getting to know, if they're really adding value is a big question mark. If nonprofits can help solve that problem, I think that will be one of the greatest assets for, mentorship programs.
Great.
Thanks.
Summarize and, yeah.
So, Mudra, with respect to your question, I would say the message would be just to make it simpler. So, anybody who kind of expresses their interest at Amazon to become a mentor are really motivated. So, you really don't have to sell the program to them. Like, if they get the information, they are motivated to kind of, put in their time and put in their effort for this, and they make it happen. So, when somebody is really motivated and they're trying to do it out of, service, you really need to make it simpler, because we don't want to miss that opportunity that that person had. So they will still cross those hurdles, but if we can give them a good experience, that will be helpful. And in terms of what Kishore said, platforms are really important. But I would also suggest that you don't need to do everything by yourself. Maybe just partner with other nonprofits, or maybe just pose that question to the corporate that you're helping with. And what at Amazon we've done is that we're not in putting our balls into several baskets. So we're like, okay, this is the kind of platform which gives the best experience to my mentors. And we do have like AFE program running and scholar internship program running. And all those underserved children and youth need mentorship. So we kind of try and bring them onto the same platform and service as many people as we can from that.
Great. Thank you. I think let's go on to the questions. There are a few questions. Maybe we can have about 1 or 2 of them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. This is Karthi from Team Everest. Fantastic discussions. So I have few points regarding the rewarding mechanism. I would like to hear from you. I think everyone touched upon those rewarding points. And I think Neha beautifully spoke about the low touch, high touch, and she told, mentoring comes under the high touch. See, somewhere I feel that the rewarding mechanisms were designed, it's not differentiated between the low touch initiative and the high touch initiatives. For example, see, even if you look at the metrics we track, mostly the lives touched or volunteering hours, say I report 1,000 hours of volunteering, it's 1,000 hours of blackboard painting or it's 1,000 hours of mentoring. Now, both creates very different kind of impact. Like when I was part of Cognizant, so we used to differentiate the type of volunteering activity. So we classify the activities into 5 types of activity. Now, can we also design rewards around, okay, it's a high touch volunteering activity, can you do this? See, today, if you look at volunteering grants, all those, it's 40 hours of blackboard painting also is the same reward, 40 hours of mentoring is also the same reward. We talk about impact. Now, is there rewarding mechanisms based on impact for a volunteer so it becomes easier? Any comments on that? How do we tweak the rewarding system to enable more people? See, I'm taking up high-touch volunteering. Can I differentiate them and show them as heroes? And coming to the M&D point, Arshit, that you told, right? The biggest challenge we have is even CSR tells after 1 crore rupee, you can spend 5% for M&D. So if it's a 5 lakh rupee project for mentoring or 10 lakhs, do really, if say a non-profit would say M&D budget and want to report, is corporate ready to approve that budget? That's where, we don't have M&D teams or M&D budgets to really assess the impact and report it back. In the expectation on the corporate is very high, but I don't think the corporates are yet ready to fund it as well. So that's what I see and wish to hear about the rewards.
So we have a limited, so in the interest of being generous and not taking up everyone's time, we'd ask that questions are short, less of a statement, more of a question. And if you have multiple questions, if you can ask one and always find the speakers later, because otherwise that way only a few people will get heard. So we'll take this question and then let me moderate this.
Thank you. This was a great conversation. I have a very quick question. How do you think about how your rewards attract differently motivated mentors? And so especially thinking about Atlassian, you said you go all the way to giving back rewards that lead you to internal letters of recommendation. Does that worry you at all, that might attract people for the quote unquote wrong motivations?
Hi, I'm Muskan from Make a Difference. So my question is to all three of you. Currently, I think since all the sessions, we have been talking about what is in it for the mentors, and that's the research also which is not out there a lot. But however, like in your experience of working with so many non-profits over the years, what are some visual skills that you have been able to observe in your employees after working with, let's say, in a mentoring program, that you are able to substantiate and sell the employee the mentoring program later?
I suggest you all answer
Okay.
those questions, and then we'll see if we have some time for more.
Okay, I can start from the last one. So thank you for this question, and we've seen the progress. So essentially, just to rattle out some things, we've seen employees become more confident. They are able to manage their time well, and there's a lot of learning. So what we've consistently heard is that they learn in terms of, what are the current trends, how are the people learning right now, what are the newer resources. So we always felt that, these are the things that the mentors would give, but they're also learning back as well. But the learning in terms of leadership development is also really high, and their social skills improve, and they also get more motivated to perform. Okay, so what we've seen is that, people that are at a certain level and they're like, okay, I've arrived, and then they start mentorship and they're like, oh, I need this in my life as well, and they start doing better. So that is what is happening. And just touching a little bit upon, what Karthi, you've said in terms of rewards. So we don't have so many rewards as of right now, and you're right that the rewards, even if the limited rewards that we have are different in terms of low impact, high touch and low touch volunteering. But like I said, at Amazon, we're trying to create a culture of volunteering, and hence it's very pull-based. So if you want to do it, please come in, and there's no quid pro quo situation. But we invest a lot in building those communities, and we've seen that people learn off each other, and the whole fulfillment of being in a community of like-minded people and sharing those values and commending each other is what has worked out as well. But definitely we do kind of like an annual gratitude that we do. It's not reward, but we do give out gratitudes to our people as well.
I think coming to your question about skills, right? I see there are a lot of skills that each individual kind of pick up from mentorship. But one thing that I've seen is a lot of our mentoring program leaders are mostly college grads who have just passed out 22 years, 23 years. And they lead a team of about 30 or 40 mentors, right? And then it's a great opportunity for them to showcase their leadership skills, their team management potential, and a lot of other things which they cannot do it in a day-to-day, engineering job or any other job. And the thing is, most of the times these mentorship programs are backed by leaders, so leaders also get to see the potential of these people, and there's a lot that people can learn and display. Karthi, your question, Foundation Rewards, I was telling you, right? It's still a pilot program. We're going to launch it next year, early next year. So we have 3 levels, Shakers, Movers, and Changemakers. So the rewards for each level is very, very different. So Movers get very basic rewards, and Shakers get better rewards. They also get like t-shirts and all of that. And Changemakers get the ultimate of rewards, like 100% free discounts on Atlassian products, $10,000 grant that they can apply for, $1,000 to donate, letter of recommendation for their promotions or whatever. So different. So our aspiration is to get people to Changemakers and unlock more and more rewards for them because they do deep work. Your question, we have a platform in place that will, along with ours, will also track the kind of actions people take. And depending on actions they take, it categorizes them into either a mover or a shaker or a change maker. And then once they have these actions, then they also unlock rewards on the same platform. So there's something that we have got custom made. Yeah.
So if I could just add to one thing that came from the plenary yesterday, we had Kiran Modi, who does these mentorship programs for very at-risk, very highly traumatized youth, and she sort of emphasized that you have to do it for the right reasons. And I guess what the question is that are we sort of confusing the right reasons in this while addressing a very human need for motivations and incentives, but are we losing the right reason to volunteer when it seems like it's all of these perks are being sort of held up as the reasons to do it?
Yeah, I think we'll add on to it. I think couple more from our side, I think from Microsoft. Like we are already having that mechanism. Like when we do employee volunteering, I understand that in Microsoft, for every employee volunteering hour, we would want to provide rewards for the employees. This is for everyone to get into the program. But when you come into the program, then when you go back and then start tracking your hours for the volunteering programs, we try to again classify them. Is this an competency-based volunteering program for which you are doing? If so, is that an mentoring program or is that a regular volunteering program? So if it is a regular volunteering program, we leave it at volunteering rewards. If it is a mentoring program or a competency-based program, we try to kind of track them separately, even though the first outcome is rewards, which is available always, but the recognition mechanism applies only for the competency-based programs. That is number one for us. Second for us is we also have an internal goal that out of the total volunteering rewards or hours that is done, 30% of it should go for such competency-based programs where we are driving impact. That is 2 for us. Third is we also have this volunteering time off, which is only available for such competency-based programs, including mentoring. Like in the sense, like we don't approve volunteering time off. We have a policy established there clearly saying that this is applicable for such programs. So this is how we try to kind of maintain a mechanism to encourage more and more people. Ideally, we want to move from more on this 30% should go to 50, 70, 80. That's what is thought process which we have. One. Second, in terms of like one aspect which I want to share apart from what all they shared, I think as part of mentoring program, if someone joins, what I can see is they become repeat mentors. That is something which I see always. Like there are a lot of mentors who, if they get into the game, they see that they have empowered a girl to get placed. Like say even recently, I think there was a girl who got internship in Amazon. So then I think the mentor is jubilant. So he wants to now take up another 3. He wants to look up what are the other mentoring programs that we are having that he or she needs to be part of and then start contributing. Someone who starts apprehensive, I don't have time, I may not want to do it, I may not be able to continue through the program, is now coming forward and asking for more programs to mentor, is I think a success of the mentoring program. Yes, thank you.
One last question.
One quick answer for Arundhati's question about rewards, right? So I think, Arundhati, I had an answer for you. So one of the things that we are trying to do is most of these rewards were also there before. But what we have done is just a repackaging and restructuring of how we give people rewards. So instead of just giving rewards for every simple action that they take, we are telling them, you do more, actions which have deeper impact, like become a change maker, and you unlock all the rewards that Atlassian has to offer. And also if you see these rewards, right, so what happens is this pushes more and more people to participate in aspirational volunteering like mentorships and get those rewards. And if you see, most of the rewards are to help these volunteers volunteer better. Like the $1,000 grant, it's something that they cannot take for themselves. They have to donate it to the charity, and most of the times they end up donating to the same charity that they volunteer with. Free licenses of Atlassian products, they end up giving it to the same charity that they work with. So most of the things, and the community grant that they can apply, that's also for the charity. Except maybe a small letter that we give during their performance management, I think most of them are designed in such a way that it goes to the charity back. So that means they're creating more impact.
So sorry we're taking time, but it was a great question, Arundhati. And I agree with you. And, I started off in the sector with, okay, we need to reward people. They're spending so much time. And we've moved from 3,000 volunteers to about 30,000 volunteers without any rewards as such. And we just do we probably give out swag and give out one gratitude goodie box every year, but that is not treated as rewards as such. And you're right, it's about how do we attract people for the right reasons. And especially with programs like mentoring, you don't really have to reward them. Like the way that they interact with the mentors, it is fulfilling and rewarding in itself. And so really we've been able to grow without those rewards, and we've seen that sometimes it has bit us in the back. Like, you know, if you recruit people with the wrong reasons and you just keep, you know, getting into that vicious circle. So it's like completely volunteering, completely voluntary, and there is no time off. I would have loved to do it, Harshit. Maybe I'll write a paper on, you know, whatever you've learned in terms of how do we give them off. That is like the biggest thing. But what has really worked, and what has worked for us is, you know, give volunteers something to post on probably the social media. Like, how does it help them in their career development? Okay, so so whenever they get like some trophies or something from their leaders, when their names get announced in all Amazon meetings, when they have something to post on their LinkedIn, when somebody congratulates them or gives them kudos on an internal portal, those has shown us tremendous benefits, and that has led to the maximum appreciation from our mentors and volunteers in general.
Thanks. Interesting discussion. I'm Shrikant from TAS Telangana. At one time, I used to run the largest volunteering program under NASCOM Foundation called My Kartavya, right? A part of it was volunteering, and we used to have a lot of volunteering and mentoring programs, especially with Barclays and others. My question to the panel, and anyone can answer and all can answer, do you do a baseline and an end line for your beneficiaries who undergo the mentoring program? Thank you.
I think I can share, a couple of examples. I think since I was sharing that we have 3 multiple layered mentoring program structure in us, especially the programs which are driven by our business units, the programs which are driven to contribute to the success of our CSR projects, there is definitely a baseline for it, and the mentoring is being done to enhance that lacuna. Like, we want to kind of make sure where it improves. So there is always a measurement on what was it started for, and where does it end, and in each year what were all the challenges that didn't make us land there, and what should we be doing further. I think that is definitely an integral part of both of our programs. The major program where we contribute to the success of our partners, especially the ones who do mentoring themselves, I think our emphasis is asking everyone to kind of look at it, because when Karthik was telling, like, we need to have more than 1 crore budget in a program to do impact assessment and have those like matrices, I said not necessary. I think it's more for us that we need to do impact assessment for those programs. I think we are quite open, and we want to kind of help define indices for these programs for such. Let's say if Mentor Together would want to work with, let's say you have signed an MOU with Karnataka government for engineering colleges, happy to kind of help in defining matrices for the program, say first year onwards, 4th year, what should it be there. We are quite open to help you doing it, and we kind of want to channelize it and encourage that system. So basically it is there in the programs that we drive, and we are quite open to help as well.
So I would also agree that we do M&E for all of our programs, and not just mentoring. All of our programs are very outcome related, and it is different from output related. So there's a particular outcome that has clearly been defined and put it in the MOU, and it is the corporate's responsibility to also make it happen. And Karthi, to your previous point, there might be certain compliances related to M&E, but like Kishore said, it's in the corporates. Corporates benefit to kind of really do monitoring and assessment. And at Amazon, we don't look at monitoring and assessments criticality in terms of, okay, you know, who does this report need to go to? It's more about if you have your outcomes clearly defined and you have outcomes assessed and rated by a third-party agency, that is the only way you'll be able to reach out to your leaders and get that support. So if you have trusted and reliable stories backed by data, is when your leaders get involved, and when your leaders get involved is the only way you can enhance your culture of volunteering at your organization.
Okay, I think similar answer. We also kind of run our programs based on outcomes. So one of the mentorship program we run with Mentor Without Borders, the outcome is after 3 months, within 3 months of a mentorship program getting completed, the mentee has to get employed. So that's the outcome. And what our leaders do is once the mentorship closes for the year, they kind of share all these results, outcomes, everything with us. So that's how we know what's happened after a mentorship program. But a baseline is also done to just see where all the mentees are standing. So it happens.
I think we're out of time for questions. So everyone who has questions, that's a testament to how good the panel was. So if you all could just approach them at the end to also have those one-to-one discussions. So, yeah.
Yes. I think, yeah, like Kanti said, we've got some great ideas and thoughts from all of you. And while we'll have a lot of movers and shakers, I hope with this we'll have a lot of change makers be part of the larger mentoring movement in India. So thank you so much. It was great listening to all of you. And yes, for all the questions that I know didn't go answered, please, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to meet you outside. Thank you.